Your entire net worth can completely vanish in milliseconds if it exists entirely as pixels on a screen. The brokerage interface is fundamentally designed to prioritize user engagement over risk transparency. By highlighting certain metrics over others, the platform creates an environment where a line of credit feels like a realized asset. When you open your account and see "available buying power" printed in a large, bold font at the top of the screen, your brain naturally equates that figure with your actual net worth. But that number is an algorithmic allowance. It is a line of credit granted entirely at the whim of the clearinghouse. Treating this metric as financial security is a mistake. This is capital that exists in theory only, right up until a trade is closed and the funds clear. Contrast that theoretical margin with realized cash. Cleared cash is sovereign. It is actual ammunition. You cannot use theoretical buying power to purchase hard assets, pay for a 4-week sabbatical, or secure your retirement. Your account equity remains a complete fabrication right up until the exact moment a trade is closed and the funds clear the clearinghouse. If you never extract capital from the market, you are essentially just playing a video game. You are running up a high score on a server you do not own. To actually build wealth, you need a ruthless, mechanical system to extract that theoretical margin and convert it directly into cleared cash. To understand the danger of standard margin assumptions, look at these two capital requirement models side by side. Standard Reg T margin requires a fixed, mathematically predictable percentage of capital. If you hold a standard option spread, like a 100-wide put vertical, that capital requirement locks into place and stays there. It is reliable. Compare that to span margin. Span is an aggressively dynamic algorithm. Span evaluates risks dynamically, constantly adjusting its capital requirements based on current market conditions. In calm, low volatility markets, this creates a liquidity mirage. Look at all that available buying power. Under these quiet conditions, Span demands a seductively low amount of capital for the exact same 100-wide put vertical. This massive buffer of unused buying power creates a deep, false sense of security. Seeing all that green space actively encourages traders to over-leverage their books, putting on far too many positions simply because the interface says they can. These low capital requirements during calm markets entice traders into overexposure, transforming a margin benefit into a systemic vulnerability. The Span margin system is designed exclusively to protect the clearinghouse, not the retail trader. The trap triggers the moment the market drops and implied volatility violently spikes. The Span algorithm instantly reacts to this volatility, switching to a defensive posture. The margin requirement for the exact positions you already hold suddenly expands. Capital requirements can double or even triple overnight on identical positions, blasting straight through your account limits. The massive buffer of available buying power you relied on evaporates exactly when you need it most. This violent mechanical chain reaction instantly forces you into an unexpected margin call, and your entire portfolio is forcibly liquidated. The paradox of this liquidation is that it happens even if the underlying market price never actually breached your strike. The broker unilaterally changes the capital rules mid-trade to save themselves, completely ignoring your trade thesis. It is a fatal error to trust any risk metric that automatically shrinks precisely when you are under fire. Long-term survival depends on more than just psychological discipline. While willpower is necessary, a structural barrier ensures that market volatility cannot override a trader's intent. This is the custodial firewall, a physical separation of capital across two distinct environments. The first node is the engine, or account A. This is your active derivative trading environment. The engine is the battlefield. Its sole purpose is to deploy high-probability setups and absorb managed risk. The second node is the vault, account B. This is your physically disconnected, compounding reservoir. These two nodes are connected by a rigid, mechanical rule. A strict, non-negotiable percentage of realized profits must be swept out of the engine. This extraction process introduces intentional, necessary friction into your trading system, forcing money off the table. The cash is pushed through a one-way valve in the firewall and drops permanently into the vault. Once the cash clears that firewall, it is permanently removed from the jurisdiction of your broker's Span algorithm. By engineering this specific architecture, you successfully isolate your realized cash from the systemic danger of overnight margin expansions. Once the extracted cash safely arrives inside the vault, its operational state completely changes. This isolated capital is immediately deployed into safe, yield-bearing instruments, like T-bills or broad index funds. This isolation is absolute. The vault cash is now completely dead to the active trading system. You cannot use it to save a bad trade. Consider a final stress test. A catastrophic black swan market shock hits your active portfolio. On the battlefield, the engine contracts, under extreme span margin pressure, and takes massive damage. But behind the firewall, the outcome is entirely different. The vault remains untouched, quietly compounding its yield while the rest of the market burns. Your long-term financial survival depends entirely on prioritizing and protecting realized cash. If you fail to build this two-node architecture, market volatility can claw back years of hard-fought gains. A high account balance on a brokerage interface remains theoretical, a score on a rented server, until that capital is extracted and cleared. By utilizing a custodial firewall, you stop playing a rigged video game and start commanding wealth built safely inside the fortress.